In today's video, I'm doing another dollar a day challenge. This time though, I'm hoping to be able to acquire foods that fit into my current eating plan. Specifically, I'm looking for whole foods that have as much protein and other nutrients as possible, and I'll also be avoiding white flour products. I'm hoping to try something new that I've never had before, and the bulk bins are perfect for that. And finally, I'd like to purchase some kind of fresh vegetable or fruit. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Michelle. I like to do these dollar a day challenges because it helps me to discover new meal ideas that are low in cost. It also gives me a better appreciation for the food that I have. I do want to let you know that I'll be using oil and dry spices from my pantry. Also, another disclaimer, this is not intended to be a long-term eating plan, nor do I think I'll be able to obtain a 2,000 calorie intake with $1. However, my goal is to obtain enough food with $1 so that I don't feel hungry throughout the day. The first deal that I spotted were these red potatoes at 65 cents a pound. That's a really great sale, but I recently used potatoes in a dollar a day challenge, so I think I'm going to pass on these for now. Plantains were on sale at 98 cents a pound, but they are kind of heavy, so I don't think they're going to fit into this challenge. I've actually been thinking about plantains quite a bit lately though, so expect to see these in an extreme budget meal very soon. One of my viewers told me about amaranth, which is a whole grain that I've never tried, although it does look like they're sold out. It was $2.58 a pound anyway, so that wouldn't fit into my budget for this challenge. I'm looking for ingredients that are under $1 a pound so that I can get enough of the quantity to fill me up, and my basic rule of thumb is I need to spend about 33 cents for each meal so that I can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Brown rice is a good price at 88 cents a pound, but I use rice a lot on my channel, so I'll choose something else. I was excited to see that they had split yellow peas in stock, and they were a great price at 88 cents a pound. I wanted to get these last time I was here, but they were sold out. A quarter cup dry has 12 grams of protein. That's a lot. However, I have had a long-term dislike for green peas, so I'm not sure I'm going to like these, but I'm willing to give them a try. If you watch my channel, you may have seen me cook with yellow split chickpeas, also called chana dal, but these are not those. I've also read online that these cook a lot faster and lose their shape more than chana dal, so I'm excited to see if that's true. I need something for breakfast, and I was eyeing these wheat berries. They had red and white and the rolled wheat flakes, which are flakes that are made from the whole berries, or in other words, a processed version of the wheat berry. When the berries are ground, they make whole wheat flour. I had to do a little more research to discover this because I'll admit, I haven't always known what whole foods look like. I think this would be something though that I can eat for breakfast that's similar to oatmeal. People also use this to make a grain salad, so I could potentially eat this for lunch as well. But I have to confess, this doesn't look very appetizing to me, but I would like to try something new, so I'm gonna make myself get it. Plus, it's high in proteins and other nutrients and should keep me satiated for a good long time. Plus, from all the information I could read about this, the glycemic index of wheat berries is low. So that fits into my eating plan. I was surprised to see that whole wheat spaghetti was only $1.19 a pound compared to $1.59 for regular. And since I would like to start eating more whole wheat pastas, I picked up some of the whole wheat spaghetti. I also picked up a very small amount of raisins and chopped dates. When I was at Winco, I spotted these flour tortillas that were keto with 0 carbs. Mission also had a similar product, but when I compared the two, the Guerrero brand looked to be bigger. They were both kind of high sodium, but I thought I'd give them a try anyway. While I was at Winco, I also picked up some regular oatmeal, which was $3.98 for 2 pounds 10 ounces, which was only slightly more than Sam's Club, and I don't have to worry about storing a giant amount of oatmeal in my tiny place. I also picked up this kefir low-fat milk that I'm going to be adding to my smoothies, just trying to make a conscious effort to get more probiotics into my diet. I did notice that this was also agreeable to those who are lactose intolerant. And I also picked up this oat milk. This brand was on a discount at H Mart the other day, so I picked that up and really liked it. This is also for my smoothies as well. Plus, both of my sons have been eating protein smoothies and working out, so I'm trying to have a little more in the house for them too. I have 26 cents left for fresh foods. I'm stopping by Wholesome Choice on the way home because they have the best price on produce, and I'm sure I'll be able to get something with the money I have left over. If I get a small banana, I could use it in the wheat berries for a breakfast porridge, but it wouldn't really go with any of my other meals. I saw that they had tomatoes for 99 cents a pound, which isn't a very good deal at Wholesome Choice, but I found a tiny one that added up to be 17 cents, and I would be able to use my tomato in possibly 2 different meals. And then I noticed they had these green beans on sale at 69 cents per pound, which is a really good deal. So I picked these up and they were only 6 cents. My youngest son said he went to 3 stores to try to find sriracha hot sauce and they were all out. So when I spotted it at Wholesome Choice, I picked him up a bottle. Not sure if there's going to be another shortage or not, but I thought I would mention it in case anyone else is looking for it. It always pays to check the international markets. Our total came to 97 cents. I really should have went back to the produce section and purchased 3 more green beans, but I didn't, so we're slightly under budget. We have our wheat berries that cost 23 cents, yellow split peas for 13 cents, whole wheat spaghetti for 27 cents, dates were 6 cents, the raisins were 5 cents, the tomato was 17 cents, and the 6 green beans were 6 cents or a penny each. Looking at these green beans, I'm suddenly hit with the value of a penny. 1 penny for 1 bean. It kind of makes you rethink the value of a penny. I added up the protein here and it came out to be about 55 grams of protein. 55 grams of protein for $1 is not bad. Now let's see if we can make some delicious meals with these ingredients. For my first meal, I'm making the wheat berries. I have a half cup dry plus what looks to be about 1/8 of a cup. I'll start by rinsing them fairly well. I'm not sure how much water I'm going to need, but I'm going to start with 2 cups. After about 20 minutes, I checked the wheat berries and they had soaked up quite a bit of the water, so I added some more to the pan. This seemed to be an endless process. I can feel the anxiety levels of my UK viewers now as they are thinking about all the energy being used to cook this. All in all, I think it took these about an hour to cook. They might have been done a while ago, but I wasn't sure exactly what they were going to taste like when they were done. They're still very chewy, but the berries have started to split, so I believe they're finished cooking. Obviously, if I was cooking this in my regular life, I would make a huge batch in one sitting and then put it in the fridge or the freezer for later use. You could also can these, and I think the most efficient way to cook these would be either in the crock pot or the Instant Pot. I was thinking I would use the tomato in the spaghetti and the yellow split peas, but now that I've tasted the wheat berries, I feel like it's going to need a little bit of acidity. I could have cooked this with a little brown sugar and prepared it like a breakfast porridge, but I'm not in the mood for that type of breakfast. I think I'll like this much better. I'm doing a rough cut on the chopped dates and raisins. I want them to be big pieces, so I'm just trying to cut into each piece once. For now, I'm going to use 1 cup of the cooked wheat berries for my breakfast, and then if I'm still hungry, I'll eat the rest. If I was making this for lunch, I might add in some oil and vinegar, but I'm excited to try it just like this because the wheat berries do have great flavor. And like I said earlier, I didn't add any salt when I was cooking them because I didn't feel like it needed it. But if you wanted to add a little salt, I'm sure it would enhance the flavor even more. These have such a delightful chewiness to them, and they are nutty and slightly sweet. The tomato definitely helped to balance the flavors in this dish, and every now and then when you bite into one of those raisins or dates, it's like a delicious little flavor bomb. I feel like I should be using dates more in my cooking. I wanted to know what this would taste like with a walnut, so I grabbed one, and it goes so well with wheat berries in this dish. I don't think I've ever used an ingredient that inspired me more with cooking. I think that this would make a great vegan filling for casseroles and tacos, and I also think this might work well eaten as a cold breakfast cereal with milk, but more on that later. It is lunchtime, and these are the ingredients we have remaining. Those wheat berries were so filling that I didn't need to eat any more, and I'm just now getting hungry for lunch. It's kind of amazing how filling whole foods are, especially grains. I plan to use the yellow split peas in a soup, and maybe I'll add in the remaining wheat berries to give us a better texture to the soup and add a little more heartiness. I decided to cut up 2 of the green beans to add to the soup toward the end of cooking. It's going to add a crunchy texture that I think will be nice along with the chewiness from the wheat berries. After cooking the split peas for about 20 minutes, I removed a small amount from the pan. I thought it would be fun to crisp them up in my toaster oven. I recently purchased these crispy lentils from Rite Aid. They were $3.69, but they were so good, and I've actually been trying to recreate these at home since I purchased those, and it took me a few tries to get it right, but I realized that I had to pull them out when they were slightly undercooked in order for them to hold their shape better, especially with lentils because they're so small. So that's what I'm going to be doing here with the split peas as well. I've also done this with chickpeas. If you've never tried it before, it makes such a great healthy snack, and it's chock full of protein, so I love to eat this between meals. I'm adding a half teaspoon of vegetable bouillon for flavoring, but you can just add salt to taste if you want, because they have a great flavor by themselves. This soup turned out really good. I enjoyed it, and I liked the extra crunch from the green beans. It definitely added a little bit more nutrition to the soup. My baked split peas turned out really good as well. They were a lot crunchier than I thought they were going to be, and they would probably be too crunchy for some people, but I really enjoyed them. I'll definitely make those again, but I'm going to experiment a little more with that recipe, and maybe I'll try to make them without oil next time and see how they turn out. I never realized how useful baked lentils, peas, and chickpeas are to my eating program, and how delicious they are. So I do plan to take a weekend and make some large batches of these and store them in some jars just to have on hand, because they do help to make my blood sugar level so that I'm not craving the wrong kinds of foods. Here is our remaining food. I'm looking forward to trying this whole wheat spaghetti. The manufacturer label indicated that a serving size is 2 ounces. I weighed this and it came in at 3.56 ounces, so I'll be eating just shy of 2 servings, but that's pretty much standard for me when I'm eating spaghetti. It is my favorite type of pasta. I thought it might be fun to add the dates into the spaghetti, and it appears that I'm not the first one to think of this. Sometimes I'll make roasted tomatoes to go with my spaghetti, and it adds a nice touch of sweetness. I'm not going to be doing that now, but I do think the dates will be a nice stand-in for the roasted tomatoes. Today I'll be cooking the chopped tomatoes in some garlic powder and oil, and I'll be eating the last of our green beans on the side. I'll be using garlic powder and red pepper flakes. I buy these at Sam's Club and then just fill in the small bottles when I run out. This smells amazing. I made this with a little more red pepper flakes than I normally do, so I think this will be quite spicy, but I think that'll be a nice addition to the sweetness of the dates. The spaghetti was so good. I didn't really taste the chunks of the dates as much as I thought I would. They kind of melted into the dish, and every now and then I would get a bite that was a little sweeter than the rest. I really like the sweetness against the backdrop of the heat that I got from the red pepper flakes, and the garlic, of course, is always a favorite seasoning of mine. The green beans had a huge impact on this dish because every now and then I would take a bite of a green bean, and it was a nice contrast to the richness of the spaghetti. Even though I only had a few green beans, I think they helped me to enjoy the dish more, and I would have liked to have had the other 3 green beans that I could have gotten for my extra 3 pennies. When I finished eating, I had those 9 or 10 raisins for dessert, and I enjoyed them. I didn't eat the wheat berries because I was full, but that's okay because I really wanted to do something with those the next day. I was dying to try these wheat berries with creamy oat milk and canned peaches. They were kind of rich on their own, so I thought they'd be great this way. This was delicious. I'm going to start eating this for either dessert in the evening or for a light breakfast, and I'm going to make sure that I always have these wheat berries cooked and ready to use. And in case you're wanting to know, here I'm using the Oatly full-fat oat milk. I've been trying all of the brands, and I seem to like them all so much better than almond milk. As soon as I tasted the chewiness of these wheat berries, I knew I wanted to try these in a vegetarian taco as like a meat substitute. So I fried the remaining berries that I had and added some taco seasoning and added them to a crispy corn tortilla shell with a little bit of lettuce and sharp cheddar. And this was so good. I like it better than the Morningstar Farms vegetarian burger crumbles because those don't have the chewiness that this has. If you're having difficulty affording groceries and you have a teen that is vegan or vegetarian, this is an affordable way to provide good nutrition for them. Or if you're trying to extend your meat to save money, adding a little of this in will help your meat go further. I know a lot of my viewers use some kind of meat extender. If you wanted to, you could even use this as an extender for either the vegan or vegetarian burger crumbles, but like I said, I think it's perfect on its own. It made a delicious taco. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you liked it. I know that your time is valuable, so I appreciate the fact that you chose to spend it with me. I'll see you next week, friends.